I'm very, very middle class like that. I have a lot of principles. I'm like, झूठ नहीं बोलना, किसी का बुरा नहीं सोचना, किसी का बुरा नहीं करना, हमेशा सच बोलना, like that. Because I have my mother's extremely by the book, austere kind of lifestyle and very, very hardworking. But I also have this crazy bohemian side that my father brought, who was a musician and an artist himself.
She's the actor who managed to make a difference with each character. Sayani Gupta is a woman of substance and she's proved to be a force to reckon with. On today's episode of Filmfare OTT Showcase, a prelude to the My Glamm Filmfare OTT Awards, we chat with Sayani about her journey so far and what's more to come.
Oh, sweet. Thank you so much. And I have to tell you, I've always seen your interviews and I've always been like, why doesn't Jitesh talk to me? And I am so glad to be doing this.
So here we are.
I feel like I've arrived somewhere,
Don't be silly. You arrived long ago.
Thank you so much for speaking to me.
No. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. My first question to you is, I happened to see 4 Shots More and Article 15 back to back. Actually, it's very strange. It's one of those. And what struck me is there's an immense amount of resilience in your characters. So what sort of draws you to all of them?
I think the resilience in the characters. It's funny you say this because, when you choose characters, you don't really think about why you're choosing them. You do it instinctively. And it's a very intuitive process. Something speaks to you, right? And you feel that you can do justice to the part that's been written and you can bring something from yourself, from your own life to the parts, right? And it's a mishmash of you and what the writers and director create, and you hope to build a part that will be remarkable in its existence, and it's not just a passerby, And I feel, I've been raised by very strong women. I've been raised by a spectacularly independent, fierce woman, who's my mother. And all the women around me, including my nani or my aunts. And I'm a Bengali, so you can imagine. So it's a household of very strong opinion. Ekdom. So I think it's there, and extremely hardworking and go-getters, and my mother has had a very, very difficult life, but I've seen her resilience, all my life. So I think that's something really, really is something that attracts me in women and parts that I play. So I guess subconsciously it's something that I get attracted to.
Tell me something about, you talked about the women in your life. Before I come to that, whether it's a margarita with a straw or whether it's the audiobooks that you do, there is a certain stamp of individuality, I mean, there are hits and misses like all other actors. How do you maintain that balance? Like one day you scoot off to do an audiobook, another day you're in some interior part of a village playing this, talking about caste-ridden politics in Article 15. So, I mean, what does that do to your personality?
I don't know what it does to my personality. I guess it keeps me grounded, if nothing else. But, I am someone who has never planned in my life. So I have no plans. So, I don't like to plan because I don't know how to. And even when it comes to the choice of work, I do it again. It's very instinctive. I do what I like to do. And for everything, be it having, choosing between naril pani and a smoothie, or, doing this part or the other part. And some of the other parts are more money or, with bigger, banners or, as they say. But I do what my heart tells me to do. And what I find interesting at that time. So I guess I am quite, so my father was extremely bohemian, and I guess I also have that, I'm quite a paradox in itself, because I have my mother's extremely by the book, austere kind of lifestyle and very, very hardworking. But I also have this crazy bohemian side that my father brought, who was a musician and artist himself. So I guess when I choose work, it also is that, and that's how I live my life. And my father's no more. And my mother keeps telling me very, very seriously, "Oh, you're becoming like your dad. Oh my God,
Like what? How? Like what characteristics?
Oh, the fact that I just take off. I have a week off and I just take off on a solo trip. Yeah. So I do those things, and I don't. And my mother wants me to be a little more scared, and I think I get my fearlessness, in a way. I mean, if I can call it that. I mean, not, it's such a big word, maybe not that word, but a little bit of that that bohemian temperament from my dad, and I think what you're saying comes maybe from there, which is I don't really plan and think. I do what I like to do, something that interests me, uh, and I choose all my projects like that. Sometimes my managers wonder, "Hey, what are you doing? Why are you saying no to so much money?"
Boka ki kochish.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the OTT space and more specifically FOMO shots.
Right.
When did you discover the OTT, and were you scandalized by your character in FOMO shots? Is she a lot like you, or you were like, I wouldn't do this, or I wouldn't? Take me through it a bit.
So my OTT hadn't really come to India, but there was a lot of web that was happening, and TVF was doing primarily a lot of it. And a bunch of it came to me, including, I think, permanent roommates that asked me to do. But I wasn't very, very initially, and I couldn't do it because of dates and stuff. But I wasn't very sure because I didn't watch a lot of them, and I can't do stuff that I don't watch. And I wasn't really sure of what it's going to be, until Amazon came to India and Excel produced Inside Edge. And that was the first ever OTT show in India. And I happened to be part of it. And I loved working on it. And it's really one of my most favorite characters to play. And with Karan and Guru, who made the show. And of course, Excel I had worked with before, so I knew the team. And it's always such a pleasure to work with that team. So that happened, and FOMO Shots came much later. They actually, for FOMO Shots, came to me with Amrita Puri's character first, Kavya's part, and Rungita was extremely sweet, and she gave me the whole presentation. And at that point, Damini was supposed to be a little more like star sort of a person. So and they were very clear that they wanted to mount the show on this person, and there were a couple of options. And so when I read the script first, I loved Damini, and she really, for me, she really spoke back to me, and I was like, oh my God, what a spunky character. And she was journalist, and she has a monologue in the end which really I loved what she said when she gives back the award and things like that. And I told Rongita that, listen, if I do this, I'd only want to play Damini. And I don't want to do a smaller part in a show that has 4 women, as the leads. And Rongita was very sweet, and she said, of course, I understand completely. Don't worry, I hope to work with you soon, whenever. I said, yeah, don't worry. And that was gone. I think 6-7 months later, almost, on the 1st of January, she called me, and I remember I was at a friend's house, and I picked up the phone. I was like, she doesn't even know me. Why is she calling me to wish me a Happy New Year? And I said, hey, Happy New Year. And she's like, oh, okay. Yeah, Happy New Year. And she said, listen, how are your next 3 months? And I said, I don't even have a day off. Okay. Like, I was blocked for 4 films back to back. And she said, oh, too bad. So I said, why? What happened? She said, no, we were thinking of you for Damini. And I said, okay, hang on, wait, what's going on? And I started salivating. So, and then I was like, she was like, but what are you going to do about dates? I said, give me a day. I'll come back to you. And except for one film that I was actually co-producing myself, which is my film, I said no to the 3 other films that I was doing. And I took the dates out, and thankfully I hadn't really, I mean, it was in the process of signing and things like that, so it wasn't, and I told the makers that, listen, please let me let me take this. So I pulled out, and then that's the reason I could do 4 more shots. And I'm very glad, that it happened, because I didn't really know it's going to be, and none of us could imagine the success it has had as a show, and you can't really predict these things. But I loved the fact that I wanted to be associated with the show was only because I thought they were pushing the envelope for women, and for urban women who have an agency over their lives. So I thought they were doing something special, and I thought there were a bunch of women who were writing, directing, show running, shooting, every department, editing, every department were women. And I thought that these were a bunch of extremely, talented, successful, and smart women who were trying to put together a show about women and about lives that they lead themselves, So, yeah, I think that was the reason I got, again, attracted to it.
Others, you talked about, women having agency. Are there do's and don'ts? I mean, toxic patriarchy, masculinity. Are there some do's and don'ts as an actor that you will absolutely not do?
Yeah, there are many, Jitesh. There's too many. I think that list is very long. I wouldn't do something which is politically deft, which is improper. So be it something about caste politics or class politics or gender politics. I wouldn't do something that doesn't vibe or line with my principles or ideologies, and I live my life. I'm very, very middle class like that. I have a lot of principles. I'm like, झूठ नहीं बोलना, किसी का बुरा नहीं सोचना, किसी का बुरा नहीं करना, हमेशा सच बोलना, like that. So, and many. So, and and I think people who are not nice, I don't like to work with them.
Was the transition from Calcutta to Bombay tough? How do you maintain a balance between your professional life and personal sanity? Because Bombay is so hectic, and Calcutta must have shaped you in a different way altogether.
So there was a big gap between Calcutta and Bombay. So I fled Calcutta the moment my board exams were done. I love Calcutta for
That's 12th standard. 12th standard.
12th standard, yeah. And right after, within literally a week, I never felt like I belonged here somehow. And I'm very Bengali, I'm intrinsically Bengali, okay? And I have to have my march, and I cook in mustard oil still. I have to have my films and books and Rabindra Sangeet and all of that. But I still felt like I didn't belong in Calcutta. I don't know why, growing up. And then later I realized maybe because it's such a laid back city. Everyone's chilling. And it's stuck in the 70s, right? I mean, it's so decadent and it's beautiful. That's also the beauty of the place. And that's why I enjoy coming here much more now than I used to earlier. So I went to Delhi first. I did college. I went to LSR, did history honors. And then I took up a job because my mother was very sure that she's not going to pay for my bills, of course. And she was like, please, you have to fend for yourself. And she hoped that I'd crack the IS exam. I hoped I'd go to NSD. So we had different plans for me. And eventually I went to FTI then, to Pune to study, at which point my mother thought I had completely lost it. Because why would I bring up a daughter who wants to study films, right? After all, डॉक्टर नहीं बनी, फिर IS भी नहीं बनी, मतलब अभी फिल्म्स पढ़ने जा रही, इससे बदतर क्या हो सकता है जिंदगी में. So then she was losing it and threatening me that, she'll kill herself and things like that. A lot of drama happened. But I went nonetheless. Thankfully, I had the money to take admission. I did everything. I did admissions, my college admissions alone. I did my post-grad admissions alone. I took up a job alone. So I've done everything alone. And I think that resilience also, what you were talking about, that I was saying that I've seen in my mother that somewhere seeped in, right? It's in the blood. And then Bombay happened much later in 2011, September I came. It's actually 10 years. It's been 10 years now. And I wasn't at all phased out. I was fully geared up. I don't know how. Also because, I had worked in Delhi, that gave me a lot of confidence. I knew how to handle people, and I was like heading a team and things like that. So I knew it. And FTI also gives you a community of people who are your friends, who are your acquaintances, who you can live with, stay with, who will feed you, who will give you alcohol when you want to, who will give you a bed to sleep on. So there is a very great sense of community. And I had lots of friends who opened their, homes to me. So that way, touch wood, we are extremely lucky and fortunate and grateful, really. So that happened, and I was knocking door to door for auditions. Every audition, I used to go from morning. I'd leave around like breakfast was khake. I would leave around 9:30 with a set of, and I think most people do that. And you take like 2 sets of clothes, and then you come back around lunchtime after doing like 4 auditions. Then you eat some lunch or don't, and you take this next set of clothes. You change and take the next set of clothes, and then you do 4 or 5 more auditions. So you do that till about 10:30 at night, and then it's a lot of toiling, And I did that. And and then in the first 2 weeks, I got my first ad, and I got 50,000 rupees, which was a lot of money at that time. I mean, I was like, oh my God, it's a lot of months' rent. And I got my first film within the first month of being in Bombay. So yeah, it was okay.
And now you've known for your unique sense of style, and I'm going to play a round of this or that with you quickly.
Okay. Fun.
So smoky eyes or bold lips?
Bold lips.
Straight hair or curly?
Straight.
Red lips or nude lips?
Nude lips.
Matte skin or dewy skin?
Dewy, always.
Matte lipstick or gloss?
Matte.
Kajal stroke mascara?
Mascara.
Blush or bronzer?
Blush.
Okay, I'm done with my fashionista kind of question. Okay, my love, thank you so much for being in conversation with me. It was fun chatting with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for doing this, and hope to see you soon in person, really.
Yeah.
We met. But thank you.
For sure.